Thank you for joining me today at 2cutebeads.com. We are going to show you today basic beading on all our bracelets, how we create them and how they're made. This is a kit actually that we taught at the retail store for 17 years. And it is still our most requested. So we haven't had it online, and we're switching it out now because magnets are so popular that I wanted to show you how we have done our 2020 version. So everything's going to be included in your kit, or you can buy the pieces separately. But we start with the bicone. Then we're going to add our magnetic clasp, and these are tricky. And I need to make a little separation between the magnet and my tools, or it just is really hard to get it loaded. So now I'm going to add a crimp tube. And we always leave a bit of a tail here. So when we say leave a tail, it is enough to go back a full set of beads. We just don't nip it off. So I'm going to start with my bicone. Then I have my crimp tube. Now I'm going to start with my first bead here, which is going to be a 6mm crystal shimmer. I'm going to try to hold all of this in place just like this. And the magnet always wants to catch to my crimper tool, but it's second hole first. So if you look, it looks like I've created a little hot dog bun here. And what we need to do is we need to squeeze that together. So then with your first hole, we're going to pinch it together, just like this. Now again, like I've told you in other videos, I use the end of my tool also, the very tip of my tool, just to press it tighter. Then I pull and make sure that nothing is coming undone. Now I will take and nip off this tail. Just like that. Now that is the beginning of our bracelet. I also sometimes, while it's easier, because crimp covers, if you've not used them before, can be a little bit difficult, so I will load my crimp cover on before I start beading and cover that crimp. Okay, so now I'm ready to start my pattern. So my pattern for this bracelet is going to be a daisy spacer, a cube, a daisy spacer, a 6mm bicone, sterling silver spacer bead, 6mm bicone, a daisy spacer, and a cube. And we're going to repeat this until all of our beads are used. All my beads are on, and I'm ready to close my bracelet. So first I have to check my sizing. I only want a finger to set under it. So this one is going to be too big for me. So now I need to resize it because it's just a little bit too large. So now I'm going to show you how we resize it. You have extra beads in here, which are 4mm. For me, I need to take it down. So I'm going to take these 6 millimeters on this end, and I'm going to go and put a 4 millimeter in here. A crimp tube, another 4 millimeter, and I'm going to pull. And sometimes these clasps are really good, so they're very tough to get off. The other end of my clasp. So now I'm going to bring all of this up here, and that's why we give you the extra wire, is for sizing, because with the beads provided, normally the kits will make a 7.5, sometimes an 8-inch bracelet, and you have to make adjustments. So this is the easiest way to make your adjustments. So now we go to the other end, and this is where it gets tricky with the small ones. Second hole. You can see my hot dog bun. And keeping this out of my way is not the easiest, but see if I can tackle it by holding it this way, which I can. Okay, now I'm going to fold it together, same as I did on the other side. And this is how strong these magnets are. That's what I say, when you get our magnets, you do not have to worry. They are straight jewelry quality, the same as you would get from a jeweler. And they're using a lot of magnets now on jewelry. So now I'm going to cut off my excess wire. I'm going to move all these beads to this end. So all my beads are now at this end. I still have plenty of wire to work with. So where I crimped, I'm going to cut that off. Expose my wire. Remove this bicone because I'm sizing down. And I'm going to be using the 4 millimeters. So again, my bead, my crimp, my bead, going back through my clasp. Now that I've resized it, I am going to go through the bicone, the crimp tube, the bicone, the daisy, the cube, and the daisy, because I'm ready to finish it. I'm going to pull down tightly. And I just undid it. And go back through it again. I loosened everything up when I flipped it around. There we go. And now this time, when I'm finishing it, I have this tail I can hold on to a little bit too. And I'm going to be holding on to the end of the clasp. Second hole first. First hole, pushing it together with the end of my tool. Double check. Push it It's tight. And if you can't get in there with the end of your tool, you can always use your bent nose. And just make sure it's nice and tight. Pull both ends. Everything is nice and tight. Any of your extra beading wire or anything your magnet might have picked up, clean off. We bend away from us. And with the back of our nipper, we pull nice and tight. Take it down to the back of our nipper, and it's going to cut nice and close. So now we have to go back and add our crimp covers. And this can be challenging too, because again, you're dealing with the magnet. But this is what's going on in 2020. So people like easy on, easy off jewelry. And you don't always have somebody there to help you. So that is why in this kit, you're going to, because it is a beginning, and you're going to get extra crimps and extra crimp covers in this kit, and you get 14 inches of wire so that you can size, and this is the easiest bracelet to size because it's just changing down to 4 millimeters, removing the 6 millimeters. If you need it longer, then you use the 6 millimeters and the 4 millimeters, but it's easy to size. And this is the beginner's bracelet. And the last thing that we like to do is we like to always put a safety chain on our bracelet. So I'm going to walk you through adding your safety chain. And what we use is we use chain number 33. And for me, I always have spare chain for making all the different jewelry that we make. And hopefully I have a piece, and I do, of chain number 33 in here. And we'll see if it's going to be long enough. And it's not really long enough. You really need 1.5 to 2 inches. So chain number 33 on this, I'm going to have to cut me a new piece. 1.5 to 2 inches. I don't think this one, even with my jump rings. Well, it might. We'll try it. And for that, you're going to need your bent nose, if you have them. Or you can use flat nose and bent nose. What I don't like to use on my jump rings is I don't like to use round nose because you lose your grip and you can get it off and it won't click and close the way it needs to click and close. So what we're going to use is we're going to use I think today on this kit, we're going to use a 5 millimeter. And this is your chain nose, like I was saying. So you can use a chain nose. You can use your bent nose. If you have flat nose on hand, you can use 2 pair of flat nose. Those will work for you. My go-to tools are always bent nose. I use it as my second set of hands for wrapping and closing things. So to use your click and close, I grab it with both of my bent nose and I bend it away from me like this. Then I'm going to take my chain and right on this clasp, on this loop, I'm going to hook it in. And if you listen, hopefully, if I'm real quiet, you can hear it. when I maneuver them back together, you should hear them click. Just a little click right there. And then I run my finger over it to make sure that it's closed, and it is. We do the same thing on the other side. Again, same way. Take it through. See if you can hear it. I run my finger over it. It is closed, nice and tight. And there we have it. Everything we do in our bracelet kits, this is the way we create them. We use different beads, but the basics are the same. Good beading line, sterling silver, good quality product to start your base with. Then whatever beads you decide to create your bracelet with, that's all up to you. I hope you enjoyed this beginner's video. Thank you for joining us at 2cubebeads.com.